Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me today for this Prospect CRM webinar series. My name is Patrick and I am an onboarding consultant at Prospect Soft. In this particular webinar, we will be covering configuring your document templates. Let me share my screen. And let's put this in presenter mode. Excellent. So during this webinar session, if you do have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand, put the question in the chat window, or simply unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question. I'm happy to make this as interactive as possible. So in terms of today's agenda, what I would like to look at is your document templates and the benefits of the document templates, as well as the different types of document templates that are available within Prospect CRM. I would also look at the CRM library and how you should organize the CRM library and also uploading files so that they can be attached to your document templates. Finally, we will cover the available system settings when it comes to document templates, and this includes your email signature, as well as configuring your domain in Prospect CRM. And so to start with, within Prospect CRM, as mentioned, you have document templates, and the benefits of having document templates within Prospect CRM are that it improves efficiency. So each time you want to send an email or a document to a contact or a customer, you're not having to copy and paste, type in the email, each time. It's all there ready for you as a template. So it just makes your life a lot more easier and improves efficiency. It also reduces errors because you're not having to copy and paste. You're not having to, type things out, from scratch. And also it just makes sure that everything is more consistent because you're using the same templates time and time again. You're not having to make tweaks and format, documents and emails and all of the related, efficiencies and errors that, that can cause. So those are the key benefits of using document templates within Prospect CRM. In terms of the types of available document templates, you have principally two. These are the email template and the Word template. There is also an Excel template. However, 99% of our customers don't use the email template. So that's not something that you would ever need to use, to be honest. Finally, with the document templates, we have merge fields, which work and operate in very much the same way as mail merge fields would do in Microsoft Word. So they basically allow you to insert specific text that's then dynamic and will pull data based on, whether it's a quote, an opportunity, a contact, company, etc. So therefore, you're not having to manually adjust the templates, manually adjust the emails and documents. The system would automatically populate with the relevant details for you. So what I would like to do at this moment is to jump into the system and show you some of what I have just been referring to. So within Prospect CRM, if you go to settings and then system settings, and then emails and documents, here you will find a number of different items, one of them being the document templates option. If you click to configure, this will give you a list of the available document templates that you have. You can always create more document templates if needed. And so what we might look at now is the introductory email. And so if we click on the pencil icon, we can go in and edit that particular template. So you have a template name, you have a group that the template belongs to, which you can configure. And the idea behind a group is you want to group your templates into certain categories. So is it a sales document? Is it an introductory, document? Is it, a prospecting document? That sort of thing. Is it marketing? Is it, general or problem? So it just helps to categorize them so you can group them more effectively and get to the relevant document that you need. Extended description, basically you can add some additional like synopsis, blurb, overview of what the document is about and what it's to be used for, etc. You can also specify a specific email signature per document template. So if for specific documents, you want a specific email signature to be used, you can specify that on the document template itself. General best practice, we would suggest that the user's actual email signature is always used. So you wouldn't specify an email signature at this point. You can also set at which level the merge fields are going to be pulled in from for a specific document template. So in this case, it's going to be at the opportunity level. And then you can also select problem and quote as well. So there we go. Then you have an option to pin the template to the menu. And this basically means that you have one fewer click to get this email to the customer. And I can show you that shortly. You can also attach templates and files, and I will come onto that a bit later. So now if we click on edit to actually see our document template, we can now see that we've specified a from name and a from email address. We can also CC and BCC additional emails. And what we might say is, something like that. And then what you can do is, add some additional information in terms of the merge fields. So you could, add the user's first and last name, and maybe even, company name. So the idea behind that is to make it, less generic, something that's maybe going to get the user's attention and make them open that particular email. So that's an example of the merge fields that are available. And you can just scroll and select whichever merge field you're looking for. And basically, we've got hi, then we've got a customer's name, then, the text of the actual email. And then we also call out, their company name, that sort of thing. And then one thing you might want to do is, you've got the email signature here, and we're pulling through our phone number, etc. You might also want to add the user's contact details just to get them to confirm that maybe, you've got their contact details correct in your system in Prospect CRM. But otherwise, once you're happy with that information, you can just hit save. And then that's available to be used going forward. So that's examples of how you add your merge fields. At the top, you've got the plus icon. And here you can say, I don't know, 2, for instance. And here you can select the type of document template that it is. So you can either have an email, Excel, or Word. We will use email again, and you can specify a code, or the system will generate one for you. And then again, we can select where we're taking that from. So we could even take this from the contact level, but then also make it available at opportunity and problem level as well. And then again, we can choose to pin this or not, but so let's also pin this and then hit create. So we have our intro to email. and then we can go in and actually start to edit that, because we might want to say, you know, maybe you might want to put company name in here. Something like that. And then you put the text, hi. And then we'll put company name again, maybe. Something like that. And then you can basically go ahead and save that. So everything is saved. Everything is as it should be. We can set the group as, let's say, sales documents. And so if we find a company, let's look at Flora maybe. So we've got Flora Pharma as an example. And we might just want to send Flora an email. So we can click on Flora's email. And from here, we can select, we've got introduction email 2. We don't have introduction email 1 because that's only at the opportunity level. So we can select this, and then it just populates with the information. So we can see, you know, it's got the customer's name, and it's got a customer's name in here as well. So it's basically doing exactly what we had set up and what we wanted it to do. One thing to call out quickly is if we now click on the 3 dots, we can then say create intro email. And this automatically selects the intro email, everything's populated. It just removes one extra click, because if I click on the user's email, I then have to select the template. So that's what it means by when we say, you know, pin to menu. So that's a really useful option to be able to use. So that's basically covering your different types of email or document templates that you have. We've looked at the merge fields, and also we've discussed the benefits of actually using document templates within Prospect CRM. So that's really, you know, a useful feature and worthwhile getting into and worthwhile understanding and really configuring for your organization. Cool. And do we have any questions at this point? Cool. So I think one question was, is there a limit to the number of document templates that can be created? So there isn't a limit. So you can create as many document templates as you need. Obviously, the more you have, the more maybe confusing it might become to users, because they might not know which specific template to use. So obviously limit the numbers if possible, and also name them really well so that, you know, users know, you know, which templates to use and so forth. And similar to that question, another one has come in terms of, is there a limit to the number of merge fields that can be included? Again, no. There are a huge number of merge fields available, but to be honest, you know, maybe 10%, 20% of those you would ever use at any particular time, because a lot of them could be things like date created and other system type fields that you wouldn't want to share with customers anyway. So hope that answers those questions. And if we go back to the presentation, so what I want to look at next is the CRM library. So in terms of the CRM library, you can organize the library, which we really highly recommend. And in terms of organizing the library, you can create folders and subfolders where you will upload and store your files and documents in Prospect CRM. The point of uploading those files is that they can then be attached and shared on the document templates that you send to your customers that we just looked at previously. So if we now dive into the system, we can look at the document library. So in the left-hand menu, you have the library menu item. When you click on the library, you're presented with the library page. You can go ahead and start to upload your files. So, I could upload my files. And I could simply select, say, maybe we have a brochure and we want to upload that. So we've just uploaded a brochure that sits in the main library root folder, as it were. However, we would always recommend adding folders. So you might have a folder for, I don't know, jams. And then you might also want to have a folder for condiments as well. And if you wanted, you can also have subfolders. So for the jams, we might have jam, for instance. Maybe we want to have, might want to have a folder for jam, and so forth. So you can have multiple layers of folders in the system. We strongly encourage creating folders. However, we wouldn't encourage that you have lots and lots of nested folders, because you don't want people to have to click too many times before they actually get to the document that they are looking for. But you want the folders to be organized in a way that makes sense for your organization, so that people can get straight to the documents that they're looking for without having to search too far. You do also have the search option, and that lets you search your files. So that's a great option when you get quite a lot of files, and might make life easier to locate specific documents. So let's say under jams, I can upload a couple more documents maybe, and we can do it in our terms and conditions. So we've uploaded those files, and we're basically happy with those. What you can then do is, if we go into system settings and go to emails and documents and document templates, if we look at our intro email 1 and edit that, at this point, we can now attach our files. This takes us to the library. We might want to attach our brochure, and then we might also want to attach our catalog, and also our T's and C's. So now we have those 3 documents attached. And if we were now to go back to Flora Farmer and we were to send her intro email 2, it now has those documents attached and ready to go. Cool. So a question I've had is there a limit to the number of documents that can be uploaded? So there isn't a limit. You can upload pretty much as many documents as you like. We do have a fair use policy, but so far I've not come across a customer that has exceeded that. There isn't a file size limit as such. So again, the files can be as large as they need to be. Obviously, the larger the file, the longer it takes to upload, the longer it will take to attach to the document. And, over a certain limit, most email systems will, flag large files, and, we won't be able to send via email anyway. So just something to be wary of. The documents, when they are attached into an email template, they will be in the order in which they were attached to the template. So I attached it as brochure, catalog, terms and conditions. If you wanted this in a different order, you would need to attach it in that order in the actual template. So those are some things to consider. So you can upload pretty much any file types, including the Office suite, as well as PDFs and most image file formats. But the larger the file, obviously, the more time it takes, and the likelihood that trying to share it via email might get blocked by your customer's email system. Cool. So yeah, once that's attached and you're happy, you can just hit send, and that goes ahead and attaches that to the email to the customer. One thing I didn't cover, which we can do quickly, is you can also attach templates. So this is where we already have configured actual Word documents. So this could be an invoice document, a quote, sales order, or any other type of dynamic document that you're generating within Prospect CRM. And so if I attach this quote document as an example, even though we created it as a Word doc, when you actually attach it to a template, you can choose to have that generated as a PDF, because obviously that's more secure. Users wouldn't then be able to edit that and make any changes to the PDF as they would to a Word doc. So that's another really great option that you have for sending out templates to customers. Cool. So if we go back to the library, what we covered is how to create folders, and then also how to actually upload documents to your library. You can edit your folders if need be, and rename things, whatever that you might need it to be, or delete the folders in total if you need them to be deleted. And similarly, you can also delete any documents that you've uploaded that are no longer required. You can edit the names, but also you can make the files private as well as public, and by making it public, you can share links to that folder to your customers. You can also change the folder in which the file sits under, so that if you need to change the folder, you can do that. If you need to move them around, you can do that as well. So yeah, hopefully that all helps and that makes sense, and that lets you see how flexible, how easy the library is. If you do have updates to documents, what we would suggest is delete the document that's there and upload the change, the update, and work on that way. Obviously, if the document's attached to templates, you would have to then add those documents back to those templates. So hopefully that clarifies things and answers any questions that you might have had. So if we now go back to our presentation. So what I want to cover finally is your system settings. So in terms of the document templates, there are two main system settings that we have, which are your email signature and verifying your domain. And the benefits of doing this is that it basically ensures consistency. So when a user receives an email, it's going to have the same email signature as they would if it was sent from your Outlook or Gmail mailbox. So just makes things easier and a lot more consistent. And definitely by verifying your domain, it also ensures or reduces the likelihood of your emails being flagged as junk. So more likely to hit the user's inbox. And if we dive into the system and we go to system settings, we can see how that looks. So if we go to emails and documents, you have this option for email signature. And in this section, we can just create an email signature. So we can say, I don't know, And what I would recommend in 90 plus cases is just really just to copy your existing email signature. And I will just do that. And you should then just be able to copy and paste. That's not my email signature. There we go. That's my email signature. Got there finally. So we would also recommend as best practice to have one email signature for your entire organization, as opposed to having a unique signature for each individual person. And how you get around this is, again, we can use the merge field. So instead of having my name, we can just put in this merge field for name. Instead of having my job title, we can put in a merge field for job title. Obviously, company is going to be the same. And if you have, differing phone numbers like direct dials and so forth, you can again switch that for the user's actual phone number. And again, we can switch it for the user's email address. So everything else pretty much then would be the same. Obviously, if you have this type of, booking link that's unique, then you can add that as a custom field, or in situations like that, you might then just opt to have an email signature per individual user. But otherwise, with everything else being the same, you will just hit create. And then also, if we edit this, we can set it as the profile default. And so what should now happen is if we go to Flora, and I select to email Flora, it not only picks up the email template, it also picks up my actual email signature. And because I don't have a phone number or a job title in the system, those bits of information have not pulled through, but my username in the system has pulled through. So yeah, that's how that would work. And that really, again, just keeps everything consistent. So, when users get the email, it would look, identical as if you had sent it from your inbox. And when they do reply, if you verified your domain, the reply will also come to your mailbox. So again, just keeping everything aligned, consistent, and, as simple and straightforward as possible. So would really recommend configuring your email template, and in 95+% of cases, it is just as easy as literally copying and pasting your email signature and then just adjusting a few bits of dynamic text using the merge field. So one question I've been asked is, can you include HTML? You absolutely can. So, you can make certain things hyperlinked. You can, insert images and so forth. But ultimately, if you've got, a really stylized design, you can actually view the source and you can actually paste the HTML source instead of just copying and pasting the text as I did. So you have those options as well. So hopefully you find that really helpful. So that is your email signature. So one question I've been asked is, can you have more than one email signature? You absolutely can. So I could go ahead and create multiple email signatures. And, when you actually go to email a user, again, let's pick Flora. Even though it's going to pick the default, if I had multiple signatures available, I could choose to select a slightly different signature to use. So you can choose whichever signature you want if the default doesn't suit you. Finally, the last item I would like to cover is configuring your domain. So the idea behind configuring your domain is that basically emails sent from Prospect CRM would come from your domain as opposed to a generic email address via Prospect CRM. So it just means that users are getting an email from a familiar email address, and that those emails are less likely to be flagged as, spam or not important and not going into the focused mailbox. So simply you add your domain name and click add domain. So it won't let me assign it. So yeah. Cool. So once the domain has been added, you basically need to update your DNS record. So this is where you would go to your server host or your IT admin and basically provide them with this information. Once they update their DNS records, when you send emails from Prospect CRM, they will come from your domain as opposed to Prospect CRM. Obviously, use your own domain. Don't use the Google domain because you're not going to have access to verify that domain anyway. Plus, your emails are not going to be, at google.com. Therefore, it won't work for you. So whatever your domain is, add that in, provide these details to your admin, and they can go ahead and make the changes. You can simply add their email address and then send them the instructions. And then they can go ahead and make those details. Once they have, you will just hit verify. And then what you'd get is a green box with a tick to indicate that your domain has been verified. And that just makes sending emails from the system a whole lot better for you and your customers. So yeah, that pretty much covers what I wanted to go over today. Are there any questions? Okay, so one question that's come up is, can you have multiple domains on the system? You absolutely can do. So you can verify multiple domains. If, for instance, your company, operates, different domains for different reasons, for different territories and countries and so forth. So you can definitely do that. So that basically concludes my webinar for today. What I would do is encourage you to attend future webinars. So there should be a webinar in a week's time covering reporting. So I think that will be a great webinar to attend. I will be delivering that webinar, so I am slightly biased, but otherwise, thank you so much for your time. And if you've got any other questions, please do reach out to us. Thank you very much. Bye.